I may not be familiar with, but we actually invited some of the some of the fans of the Kubernetes and also KubeSphere in the Cloud Native community from South Africa joining us, and also in this chat box and also event, so workshop, we have some friends and a partner from UK, from UAE, also from Durban in South Africa, and also some like partners from South Africa. Welcome. And also George is from UK, I think.
The Bluetooth device is ready to pair.
Okay, so maybe someone make a recording for us so that we can post this events in this in our community or something like that. Briefly introduce myself. My name is Kobe Lee. So I'm the lead of this Cigo community here, and it's my great honor to have with us the two important speakers from China. One is Mr. Zhou, who is the KubeSphere community manager, also has a very good reputation globally in the community, who will be our first speaker talking about adapting Kubernetes and also some best practices in the industry recently. So that is the first speaker, Mr. Zhou, and the second speaker is a senior DevOps engineer, also a CDF ambassador, Rick Zhao. So they will share with us some experience in today's seminar and workshop. So let's welcome, because some of our attendees are using Zoom or some other names. So I don't want to introduce all the attendants in this meeting, but still welcome to join us. And also I saw Mr. Mohammed also joined us. Welcome. So welcome, and also I will give the opportunity to Mr. Zhou to get the workshop started. Thanks. Welcome.
Okay. Hello, everyone. This is Feiman from Beijing, China. Okay. In this session, we're going to bring a topic: adopting Kubernetes and DevOps in production the easy way. Before we get started, I would like to walk you through these key points of today's session. Okay, at first, we're going to introduce the pain points of implementing an enterprise-grade Kubernetes platform. And second, I will going to let you know what is KubeSphere and its open source ecosystem. This is the first part from my side. And in the second part, my colleague, Rick will introduce and bring you guys to the first journey to Cloud Native DevOps. You will know what is DevOps and what is Cloud Native DevOps. Finally, we're going to have a demo. We will show you how to create a CI/CD pipeline using KubeSphere DevOps. So I hope you guys can enjoy today's session, and let us know if you have any questions at the end. Okay, before we get started with introducing KubeSphere, I assume you guys already have the fundamentals to Kubernetes and Docker. Kubernetes is the de facto of container orchestration. Well, in simple words, Kubernetes is an open source platform for maintaining and deploying a group of containers. The containers are something like Docker. Well, I would say the relationship between Docker and Kubernetes, for example, they are just like the container and ship on the ocean. Okay, this graph is stolen from the internet, and I think this is very matched with the comparison of virtual machines with Kubernetes. Before we migrated our applications to Kubernetes, the most popular way for running and deploying applications is virtual machine. There are a lot of free and open source virtualization softwares, such as VMware, OpenStack. But the virtual machine is not secured and portable, and it takes too much time to set up an environment. So containers and Kubernetes were born to be portable and running faster than virtual machines. It also has multiple secured solutions on top of it. You may find the advantages of Kubernetes as a right. Yeah, when it comes to the benefits of Kubernetes, you may find that Kubernetes looks so cool, and you may find there are countless benefits of Kubernetes. For example, portable and fully open source. It has an extremely active open source community, which supports the questions and upgrades. And Kubernetes has the workload scalability, high availability, and Kubernetes is designed for deployment. Also, Kubernetes has service discovery and load balancing, storage orchestration, and networking, self-healing, automated rollouts and rollbacks, and so on. Well, as we have walked through the benefits of Kubernetes, Kubernetes is designed for hybrid and multi-cloud. So you can run Kubernetes on data center, cloud providers, virtual machines, and bare metals, as well as on the edge. K3s and the KubeEdge are both the open source edge computing solutions. Well, when enterprises are going to adopt Kubernetes in the production, you may find these things are not as perfect as you imagine. You may complain and ask me, are you a liar? So I think this is why we set up this session, and we want to know Kubernetes is not such easier in our imagine. So you can see from my slide, there are a lot of pain points of adopting Kubernetes in production. There are some people who always talk about Kubernetes have a very high learning curve, and this is not friendly for Kubernetes novice. And the Kubernetes cluster bootstrapping is so difficult for Kubernetes novice, as well as application lifecycle management, security, and multi-tenancy. By the way, if you want to expose a Kubernetes service from bare metal Kubernetes cluster, we may also have, we may do not have a perfect solution in our community. Well, there are some other pain points, just like network and storage provision and management. Also, Kubernetes is not integrated with any DevOps solutions. Multi-cluster and multi-cloud management is also a huge pain point for modern enterprises. Okay. Although there are a lot of pain points when we adopting a Kubernetes in production, there is a lot of open source solutions and ecosystem we can leverage to solve the pain points, and we can use them in our production. So some cluster operators and administrators choose to use a couple of cloud native stacks, including Elasticsearch, Kubernetes Dashboard, and Harbor, SonarQube, GitLab, Jenkins, Prometheus, and Istio. So in our daily works, we may have we may have a lot of web interfaces, and we need to switch between different product web interface across from different browser windows. So something like my slide, you will have a lot of web interfaces you need to manipulate, and each one has the high learning curve. You have to learn from scratch. Okay, let's move into the key point, and this is the final solution for those for those pain points when we adopting Kubernetes in production. Okay, we would like to introduce KubeSphere. I'm not sure if you guys have looked through our website, or have you ever heard what is KubeSphere? So KubeSphere is a distributed operating system managing cloud native applications with Kubernetes as its kernel, and provides a plug-and-play open architecture for third-party applications, seamless integration to boost its ecosystem. I think the concept is not that easy for Kubernetes or KubeSphere novices to understand. So let's take an example. What is KubeSphere? So you can imagine Ubuntu. Yeah, Ubuntu has a great and easy to use web interface. And Ubuntu is based on Linux kernel. So let's back into what is KubeSphere. KubeSphere is such like it's a solution like a distributed operating system that based on Kubernetes as its kernel. So you can regard it, KubeSphere is a distributed operating system. You can install and uninstall some applications in your desktop. So KubeSphere is just like your desktop for managing those cloud native applications. And you can find KubeSphere is totally open source, and the GitHub address is listed below. And KubeSphere.io is our website. You can, if you want to deep dive into what is KubeSphere and how to install it, you can go to our website. Okay, this is the general architecture of KubeSphere. We position KubeSphere as a hybrid multi-cloud platform. KubeSphere also represents a multi-tenant enterprise-grade container platform with full-stack automated IT operation and streamlined DevOps workflows. It provides developer-friendly web UI, helping users to build out a feature-rich platform. Oh, one of the amazing things you can look at the bottom of this architecture. That means you can run KubeSphere anywhere. KubeSphere can be deployed on an existing Kubernetes cluster or on any infrastructure, including virtual machine, bare metal, on-premises and the public clouds or hybrid clouds, even on the edge. So you can deploy KubeSphere on any kinds of infrastructures. Yeah, let's move into the third part, the ecosystem tools. You may find KubeSphere has a very abundant ecosystem tools, including Redis, Nginx, Skywalking, and Prometheus, Jenkins, and some storage and open source networking tools. So everything you may find in the CNCF landscape, you can install and enable them in KubeSphere. Well, this table, you can find this is a comparison of Kubernetes with KubeSphere. Let me introduce the relationship between Kubernetes and KubeSphere. They are not a competition relationship. I would say KubeSphere is stand on the shoulder of a giant, that is Kubernetes. But Kubernetes is not such a perfect tool. It also has a couple of pain points and disadvantages you may need to consider. So in this table, you may find what we did and what the advantages that KubeSphere has. Okay. At first, as for the Kubernetes installation, you know, if you want to bootstrap a Kubernetes cluster on a single node or on a cluster, you have to install a couple of open source softwares, including Docker and CNI and the storage. So this is this is not friendly for Kubernetes novices to set up a cluster in seconds. So now KubeSphere has developed a KubeKey, an open source brand new installer, which help you guys to quickly set up a Kubernetes cluster on any infrastructure. So users have the option to install KubeSphere and Kubernetes only. KubeKey provides users with different installation options, such as all-in-one and multi-node installation. So you can install a single node cluster or a multi-node cluster. And KubeKey also provides an efficient tool to install Cloud Native add-ons and upgrade and scale the cluster in an efficient way. Okay, let's talk about the UI. I'm not sure if you guys have ever tried Kubernetes dashboard. You will find it is too simple and it has limited functions for developers. So if you are interested in KubeSphere, you may find that KubeSphere has a user-friendly wizard web UI. So you can create and monitoring any resources with KubeSphere UI. Okay, let's talk about application management, CI/CD, and service mesh. Those parts are not included in Kubernetes. But for KubeSphere, we have application lifecycle management based on OpenPatrick's, and it has an easy-to-use application store. This is something like Apple Store. If you want to install any applications on your Mac OS or on your Apple, so you can install it from Apple Store. As for KubeSphere, if you want to install a Cloud Native application, for example, Redis, Nginx, or MyCircle, you can install it via the easy-to-use App Store in one click. Well, KubeSphere also has a built-in Jenkins pipelines and source-to-image and binary-to-image. As for the service mesh, KubeSphere has the East-based microservice framework, which allows you to easily set up a canary release and grayscale release. As for the observability capability, KubeSphere has also an out-of-box monitoring, logging, Kubernetes events and auditing, alerting and notification. So KubeSphere provides an intuitive web console for installing and managing popular open source solutions in a single console. Okay, in this table, it lists some ecosystem tools in KubeSphere community. These tools are very practical that has strengthened the disadvantages that Kubernetes doesn't implement or Kubernetes community are not included with these components. Okay, at first, I would like to introduce Porter. Porter is an open source and Porter is an open source load balancer designed for bare metal Kubernetes clusters. It's implemented by physical switch and uses BGP and ECMP to achieve the best performance and high availability. So Porter allows you guys to expose your Kubernetes service to outside in bare metal Kubernetes cluster. This is the key feature of Porter. Secondly, the cloud native logging management is also a big challenge in cloud native platform. So we developed Fluentbit operator. The Fluentbit operator for Kubernetes facilitates the deployment of Fluentbit and provides a great flexibility in building logging layer based on the most popular logging management tool, Fluentbit. As well as the kubekey, we have also included in the previous slides. Kubekey is the next generation installer for Kubernetes or KubeSphere installation. So KubeEye aims to find various problems on Kubernetes, such as application misconfiguration, unhealthy cluster components, and node problems. All of these tools and the solutions are open source and free, so you guys can find them and install them from github.com/KubeSphere. Okay, the last one, Notification Manager. Notification Manager is an cloud-native notification and alerting system that allows you guys to use it in multi-tenant Kubernetes environment. Notification Manager receives alerts and notifications from different senders and then sends notifications to various tenants based on alerts and notifications. I guess this description are not very easy for you to understand. So we would like to introduce some demos and videos in the upcoming webinars. So I hope those materials can help you guys to understand what does these components do and how they can help you guys to implement Kubernetes in production. Okay. We can also say KubeSphere is a Kubernetes distribution, and KubeSphere is designed for multi-cloud and multi-cluster. So you can leverage KubeSphere to distribute your application across multi-clouds and multi-clusters. You know, AWS, Cloud, Azure, and DigitalOcean. Any Kubernetes cluster or any existing Kubernetes services, if you want to release an application to those cloud providers, you can use KubeSphere to release them and deploy and upgrade them.
Sorry to interrupt. I see the developer, Alisa Pele from Durban asked a question, how do all those functionalities online? So Joe, can you explain how to get those applications? And also, I would like to say to our local partners and also local developers, we deployed KubeSphere in Joburg, in Centurion, which is between Joburg and Pretoria. So you can, I leave my email in the chat box. You can see. So you can send me an email, and I can also open a free account for you based on a small public cloud here. We build a public cloud to host this container KubeSphere like engines here. So anyone who is interested can just write email to me. I send the email here, and also I will open a testing account for you So there are two environments. One is testing environment. So it's built on virtual machines. And also after you finish that, we finish all the testing. I can also open a official account based on a ICE public cloud in Joburg. So that is how you can test it in Joburg, because I think some developers may feel it's very important to use a locally deployed cloud to test the latency, blah, blah, blah. But globally speaking, Joe, you can also explain. So I think number one, KubeSphere is available on AWS, and also it's purely open source. You can download from the authorized place to get all the all the software and also install anywhere you like. So Joe, can you explain that a little bit?
Yes, as I mentioned before, you can install KubeSphere on AWS EC2 or on your virtual machines, or anything or anywhere you want to install. And the KubeSphere itself is open source and free to install. So I think you can leverage KubeSphere to deploy and distribute your applications to any cloud providers.
And also, if you Google KubeSphere, you will find the official website and also get the path of all the software package, even in GitHub, right? So Joe, how do
we have some tutorials and installation guides on our website. You can find them on kubesphere.io/docs.
Okay, sure. So I think you just input the KubeSphere in Google, you will find that all the community, everything. So just type KubeSphere in Google, you find everything. And also, if you need a locally deployed free account, so send me an email, and then I can open the account for you. And currently, King has a global King Cloud global public cloud in Jakarta, in Indonesia, in Hong Kong. Also, so in Joburg, blah, blah, blah. So if you need any place to have a public cloud solution, we can also help you to figure it out. So no matter it's private cloud solution or a public cloud solution, so we are all open for you. And also all the accounts all the testing accounts are free for everyone. So just to let you know. Okay, go on.
Thanks. Okay, as I mentioned before, Kubernetes is designed for hybrid cloud. So KubeSphere is something like a desktop for you to managing hybrid cloud and multi-cloud. KubeSphere is a central control plane for multi-cloud and multi-cluster management. So as you can see from this graph, you can leverage KubeSphere to implement unified resource management, application registry management, application distribution, and cross-cluster CI/CD, logging events, and auditing across multi-clouds and multi-clusters. So the most common use case of multi-cluster management includes service traffic load balancing, development and production isolation, decoupling of data processing and data storage, and cross-cloud backups and disaster recovery. So all of these are the most popular use cases with multi-cluster and multi-cloud management. Also, one of the important things is that multi-cloud allows enterprises to avoid vendor lock-in. So this is the most important thing I want to mention. Okay, let's take at the graph. KubeSphere is developed to address multi-cluster and multi-cloud management challenges, including the scenarios mentioned above. It provides users with a unified control plane to distributed applications and its replicas to multi-cluster and multiple public clouds. Well, this is an intuitive web interface of KubeSphere. So on KubeSphere console, you can import an existing Kubernetes cluster, Google GKE Azure AKS and Amazon EKS. You just click the button at cluster, and then you can import the kubeconfig, and then you will have your own cluster which managed by KubeSphere console. And this is the web interface that you can distribute an application across multiple Kubernetes clusters and multi-clouds. You can find these applications are allocated to AWS, Cloud, and the GKE. Well, observability is the most popular feature in KubeSphere, and the most community users choose KubeSphere because they want to retrieve abundant indicators and different data source such as metrics, logs, events, auditing logs, alert messages from any kinds of Kubernetes resources. The observability system is backed by some popular open source solutions, Prometheus, Fluentbeat, Elasticsearch, Firebase, and Fluentd. With KubeSphere observability system, different users can leverage them to get the data source and the metrics they want. Okay, if you want to deep dive into what is KubeSphere observability, you can go to this URL and find more details on this website. Okay, this is also an intuitive web console of KubeSphere cluster status monitoring. You will get the cluster node status, component status, and cluster resources usage. The abundant metrics monitoring allows you guys to detect what components is abnormal. So the multi-tenant and multi-dimensional monitoring allows the enterprise to know the health status of your cluster and your components. This is the logging system, and with this logging console, you can easily find the abnormal containers or nodes in your cluster. You can also enter a filter to search for any kinds of logs in any different Kubernetes clusters. This is an Kubernetes events console. You can drill into the abnormal containers and to get the details of this container, the metadata and the detailed fields of the events. Okay, KubeSphere DevOps is also the key feature of KubeSphere. It allows you guys to build end-to-end CI/CD workflow. And after my presentation, my colleague Rick will show you a demo that how to create a CI/CD pipeline use KubeSphere DevOps. So KubeSphere DevOps has stitched a couple of popular DevOps tools, GitHub, GitLab, Maven, Jenkins, SonarQube, and those solutions are stitched like a unified web console, and you can leverage them to easily set up a CI/CD pipeline. Okay, this is a screenshot of KubeSphere CI/CD workflow. You can create unit test, code analysis, build and push, and the code analytics and artifacts, all of them in a single CI/CD pipeline. Okay, finally, this is the enterprises who contribute to our community and our partners from the global. So if you guys want to contribute and use KubeSphere, you can install it via GitHub or our website. If you guys want to partner with us, just contact Kobe, right? And or contact us via GitHub. Okay, I think the rest of the time, I will ask Rick to demonstrate something to you guys.
So any questions, you know, we can also ask Joe and also Rick. So from here, if you know question, I will just, yeah.
Questions are welcome.
Yeah, I see Vincent Liu just joined. So. Okay, Rick, you can start. So maybe we can answer questions at the end.
Yeah, I will stop my sharing.
Okay, if there is no other question, I will show my screen. Yeah, here. Okay, can you see my screen? Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Hello, everyone. My topic is introduced to KubeSphere DevOps. Today I have two agenda items. First is for the demo to Cloud Native DevOps. The second one is a demo show. In the demo show, I will show you guys how to create a pipeline in KubeSphere DevOps. Before we get started, let me introduce myself. I'm a CDF ambassador. CDF is a open source community for delivery software with quality and speed. I also is an active member of Jenkins. I promote Jenkins in China a lot. So if you want to know more about me, please check my GitHub profile. So what is Cloud Native? Cloud Native is technologies empower organization to build a run scalable application in modern dynamic environments such as public or private hybrid clouds. Containers, service meshes, microservice, immutable infrastructure, and the directive API exemplify this approach. In my opinion, the most important technology is container. Container has a lot of advantages, such as repeatable. I think this might be the biggest feature of the container, because we can deploy our application anywhere we want. Don't need to deal with a lot of the details of the operating system. Okay, let's go back to in time. In the traditional development, we develop the application and deploy them on the operating system. As we know, there are a lot of different operating systems. They have a lot of differences between each other, such as different kernel version, different software package management. We normally need to install a lot of dependencies packages before we deploy the application. Even we need to deploy the middleware, such as database. Another phase of the development is virtualized development. With virtual machine, we can maximize the usage of the operating system, and it's quite easy to deploy a application and with a consistent environment. But a virtual machine is very heavy. It will take a lot of time to deploy a virtual machine, build a application with a virtual machine, and also it takes time to get started up. When we go to the container development, we can get much more good features. So we have a similar solution with virtualized development. We also have a container runtime to run a lot of container. Instead of the virtual machine, we can run a lot of containers in one server, and it doesn't need a lot of time to get started up, because start a container just like start a process. Okay, when we have the Kubernetes as the management of the container, and we have KubeSphere console. With KubeSphere console, a lot of many different roles of people, they can work together, and they just need to what they really need to do, instead of need to study a lot of other technology, such as for a developer, they just need to focus on how to write better code. They don't need to know how to know a lot about the IT operator. So what is DevOps? This is a definition from the wiki page. DevOps is a set of practice that combines software development and IT operating. It aims to shorten the system development life cycle and provide continuous delivery with high software quality. DevOps is complementary with Agile software development. Several DevOps aspects comes from the Agile methodology. As you can see, the key point of DevOps is shorten the life cycle. With the process, of course, we need continuous delivery, and also we care about the quality of the software. So this is several key points of the DevOps. So this is a screenshot of KubeSphere DevOps. What does it looks like? This is a circle. Like a developer, they write in the source code and puts the source code to a repository. It might be Git repository or SVN. So let's assume they put their source code to GitLab. GitLab is a pretty amazing Git repository. It has a community version. It's free, or you can buy enterprise version. Once you push your code to the Git repository, pipeline will start automatically. It will build your code, scan your code, run the static code analysis, run the unit test, and it can give you the report of the test, and upload the artifact and Docker image to the architects. Of course, once we have the image, we can deploy the image to the Kubernetes, update your application. About the artifact, we can integrate several different kind of the software. For example, Harbor. Many users will push their images to Harbor, and they can deploy the Maven project to the Nexus. So besides the product, we also have a SIG, which is a special interest group of devs. In case of anyone want to get touch with us, you can join our SIG meeting. Okay, we can create a CI/CD pipeline with 3 ways. The first one is pipeline templates. The second one is multiple branch pipeline. The third one is a regular pipeline. What is the pipeline template? I think many organizations, they have a similar projects. They have the similar architecture of the project. So consider that we normally don't need to create a pipeline from zero, from the empty. So normally you can create your own pipeline from a template. You can define your template, so it will be super easy to create a pipeline. Multi-branch pipeline. What is multi-branch pipeline? If you are using Git repository, normally we will fix bugs or add some new features. When you start to develop a new feature, normally we will create a feature branch. Then we will create a pull request to the main branch, or create a hot branch to the release branches. So the biggest advantage of the multi-branch is that it can manage your pipelines automatically. You don't need to care about when you will create a new branch, when your branch will be deleted. So you just need to set up one multi-branch pipeline for a Git repository. It will scan your whole repository. The last one is the regular pipeline. If you are familiar with KubeSphere, yeah, you just need to write the KubeSphere by your own. And as we seen before, KubeSphere DevOps, it allows you to edit the pipeline with the graphic mode or by just the text mode. Okay, I will show you how to use a KubeSphere DevOps. So this is the login page of the KubeSphere. Once you log into, you can see this page. You can enter a workspace. All things will be in a workspace. So you can create a workspace, for example, test. You can choose the clusters. I have 2 clusters here. So one is a host cluster, another is a member cluster. Let me use the existing one. On the left part, you can see projects and DevOps projects. DevOps projects also can related to one cluster or another one. Okay, this is a pipeline list page. We can create a pipeline, for example, sample. You don't need to don't need to edit too many things. We click here, so you can edit the pipeline with a graphic mode or just edit it as a Jenkins file like this. When you click the button, it allows you to choose a template because the pipeline is still empty. So there is 2 templates. You can choose one of them, or you can define your own template. So if you created from nothing, you can choose the agent. Agent is a abstract or dynamic agent of the Jenkins agent. You can see 4 labels here: basic, Go, Maven, and Node.js. If your project written by Golang, you can choose the Golang. Then you can click the plus button. Here you can see you can add a stage and rename the, for example, clone. Once you choose a stage, you can add add the steps as you need, or you can also add a parallelized stage. So what is parallelized stage? Normally the pipeline will execute the stage 1 by 1, but the parallelized stage, it will run all of them at once. Also, you can delete it. For example, let me print a message. You can add other step, or you can filter them by the tab. Okay. Once the save is successful, you can see a graphic by stage by stage. Still, you can edit it from the graphic mode or edit it directly from the Jenkins file text mode. So, for example, let's copy it and paste. Yeah, so you can edit the Jenkins file by 2 modes, and as you need, you can see we also can edit from here. As we can see, we have an agent is Go, but if your project have multiple languages, for example, Go or Java, you can specific the agent for every stage. Like here, for example, you can use the Maven as the agent. Okay, this is graphic pipeline editing and then regular pipeline editing. So once you click the run button, it will start a Jenkins agent. Actually, it will be a Kubernetes pod. So another one is multi-branch. For multi-branch, you need to choose a code repository. You can choose five of them. For example, let's choose GitLab. My account is this. So once you tap the owner of the GitLab, you can choose the repository from the list. As default, the KubeSphere will be located on the root of your code repository. You can choose the path as you need. So as you see in this multi-branch pipeline, there are two branches and one pull request. So let's assume if I create another branch and create the pull request, you can see another one like it should be MR dash 2. So if this MR dash 1 was merged or closed, you will cannot see this one. So you don't need to worry about there are too many of them. So this is the pipeline of KubeSphere DevOps. Another part you can see will be here. You can use source to image or binary to image from the projects. Also, you can choose the cluster from here. This is the image builder. It can be source to image or binary to image. This one is pretty simple, but it has some limitation. For example, if you want to customize a lot of things, this might not be the perfect solution. Okay, this is my demo show. So if you have any question, please ask.
Yes, thanks, Ray. Thanks you all for your time and also the presentation. So anyone, any questions? We can also like discuss here.